Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyaadilakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha Utpatti Prakarana. We're going towards section 95, giving insight into bondage and release. There's nothing else to do. An insight into the role of the Chitta. All your bondage and release is based on Chitta. All that we need to do is to, from Chitta, remove one T out. Become Chit, pure consciousness. Same thing with Shava and Shiva. Shava, we are dead. Shiva, you are absolute. Just a little change. Sage Vasistha continues, O Rama, just as waves proceed from the ocean, or sparks proceed from a blazing fire, or rays proceed from the moon, in the same way the jivas proceed from Brahman. To understand, jivas have not been created with a big mental stress. Think of Brahma looking into a big record of karmas and then putting the jiva into a all well-planned body-mind complex. And each stage, if you want to go on studying, it's vast. I'm just giving you kind of simple way to understand. But think of how does the sun create countless reflected suns. And that's not all. It creates so many illuminations, every tree with every drop, and every drop is shining. How did the sun plan out all this big work? The fact is, it didn't plan out anything. Sun is just the sun. All these are viewed by limited minds. Limited minds have their different ways of experiencing or handling this divine self. So, and all these details arise out of the mind. How do you study God? Your mind, when it's filled with malas, then attitude towards God has a different angle. You look for God whenever there is trouble, please relieve it. If you can't relieve 10%, you do it 20%. Or so forth. In other words, the world does not emanate in a realistic way. The mirage does not emanate as a realistic structure. Dream does not arise as a realistic for creation. Similarly, the world you are experiencing is not, mystically speaking, not realistic, not real. It's Maya. In the same way, the jivas proceed from Brahman. These jivas continue to wander through numerous worlds, passing through numerous embodiments, led by the law of karma. And that law of karma is handled by Brahma, the creator. Section 95. More insight is being given into formation of karma proceeding from your chitta. Chitta is mind stuff. It is total mind. Therefore I call it a stuff. Sage Vasistha continues, a flower and its fragrance both arise from a tree at the same time. In the same way, karma and karta both arose at the same time. And speaking figuratively, from Brahma. And Brahma's reality is Brahman. Brahma is creator. What's the difference between Brahman and Brahma? Brahman playing the role under the veil of Maya. Maya is illusion. And just to remind you, the absolute reality is Brahman, beyond time, space, causation. The magical power of Brahman, the magical power itself, is spoken about on the basis of individuals who are in the state of ignorance. In other words, through a conditioned mind, you are now studying Brahman in two aspects, Brahman and Prakriti. But Prakriti does not have any reality. Just like a magician comes alone, there's nothing with him. I'm talking about real magician, old time. He's alone. But people join in and they want to see his music, magic. And once they are under the magical influence, will create many situations. And people who are caught in that magic, they will go on experiencing. The magician says, look, I'm sowing a mango tree in front of you. And all they see is a mango seed. And then it is sown. Now, by creating a hypnotic effect, see, the tree has emerged. They see the tree coming up. This old-time TV. All that happens in your own room, in your iPad. So all that is happening. Now the fruits have come. Now pick up fruits. Each one picks up fruits. But an outsider looking from completely distant stage sees nothing. He sees only the magician and some dull-witted people around him, acting like monkeys. There is no water and still they are drinking it. There is no mango, still they are eating it. So, coming back to Brahman alone is, the magician alone is, but don't call him magician. You call him magician when you are looking at people who are deluded. And the magical power, you are now studying Brahman plus magical power plus people who are deluded by the magical power. But in the absolute state, Brahman alone. So let me conclude on that. Brahman, through Prakriti. Prakriti plays three roles, three stages. Sattva predominating Prakriti is Maya. Brahman through Maya plays the role of Brahma the creator, Vishnu the sustainer, Shiva the destroyer. All Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, all of them are nothing but Brahman, but through Maya they are playing their role in the world process. Brahma is creating it. Vishnu sustains it. Shiva goes on dissolving it. And Prakriti now comes to another stage, Rajas predominating Prakriti. That's Avidya, ignorance. Led by Rajas predominating Prakriti, same Brahman expresses in the form of countless jivas, souls. And each soul is following a mysterious karmic process under the guidance of Ishvara, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Now, Tamas predominating Prakriti, the third aspect of Prakriti, becomes the basis. Same Brahman, through Tamas predominating Prakriti, becomes Tanamatras, subtle elements. Subtle elements are the basis of all that is needed for the soul for its evolution. And what is needed is a mind and mental expressions. And that's to say, out of tamas predominant, out of the subtle tanmatras, there arise the entire chitta. Chitta has four aspects: unconscious, egoism, intellect, buddhi, manas, conscious mind. All this are evolution based upon the subtle elements. Panchatatvas have created the entire mental process. Same Panchatatvas create your physical body, your pranas, vital forces, all your five layers, body, mind, intellect, ego, and so forth. So, and all this is done now from tamasi prakriti. That becomes the basis for the souls to evolve, because souls need material. And material implies soul needs a mind, soul needs the senses, the body, and soul needs a world fabricated by the five tattvas. The same five subtle elements become panchabhutas as a result of a strange permutation combination process. This has to be kept in the back of your mind. This is the fabric, subtle basis behind the Vedanta philosophy. For a sage who is established in intuitional vision, nothing has arisen from Brahman. Anything that would arise from Brahman, that would imply Brahman is not absolute. Brahman is subjected to change. But that is not so. If Brahman is subjected to change, to create things, then Brahman is no different than the world. The world of names and forms, that world does not exist. Just like your dream does not exist. Brahman alone is in the three periods of time. All the history goes back in your mind, how long. But it all is a mystic googling up information in your mind. Just like your computer suddenly brings out so much information just by one little touch. By changing one little angle, your mind goes into another dimension of the millions of years and how things have gone on. And same mind gives you a picture of what may happen millions of years later. And there are many other ramifications. But all this is nothing but the magic of the mind. Same mind practices mana, withdraws the vrittis. Then there is nothing but absolute, Purnamada. That Purna is even at this stage always full. And all that mind creates out of that fullness remains actually full. And therefore don't be surprised when this full is fully you and it moves away, what remains is nothing but the full. For those who are caught in illusion, Brahman becomes the basis for the rising of innumerable souls, just as new shoots arise on a tree in the spring. So these souls continue to arise from Brahman. Having arisen, they dissolve in Brahman. Just giving you an idea, people generally try to understand through academic intellect. And the question arises, how many are the souls in bondage? How long will it take for them all to be liberated? And if they are all liberated, what will happen to this world? So much worry. So there will come a time the world will not be needed. Alas, what has happened to this wonderful world? But we must understand, all this is very childish. Jivas, they cannot be counted. And as long as you are using your conditioned mind, there is no limit to the world you are experiencing. And there is no limit to the jivas that are struggling. And there is no limit to anything. But when your conditioned mind has become enlightened, all this has vanished from your iPhone. The iPhone, the eye, based on your eye. There is nothing but Brahman. From practical point of view, souls are constantly coming into the world. You have to have much advanced information to pick up all the information. And one day people will do it. See, every day we'll know how many houses have their babies. So how many have come, how many are going. And there will be people who will take great interest in counting. That's called progress. Souls continue to wander in various embodiments on the basis of Vasanas. And Vasanas arise out of ignorance. Again, let me repeat to you the cycle. Led by ignorance, the soul enters into a process of karma. The root source of karma is called samskaras, impressions. Impressions are like seeds. Out of samskaras there arise vasanas. Vasanas are subtle desires, allegorically speaking, just like seeds stay in the earth. But all these seeds don't grow. They follow their own requirements. Some seeds will begin to grow. So all your karmas, all the samskaras are not active. They are simply in seed state. Just a little pinch called prarabdha. And out of that prarabdha, that process starts. From those seeds, vasanas arise. Vasanas described as subtle desires. Subtle desires, for majority of people, vasana stage is indistinct. See, people don't know their own vasana. All the vasana literally implies something like a smell. Vas, suvas, kuvas. Somehow smell comes in. If the wrong vasana is there, the soul has nosed it, smelt it. And automatically your vitality begins to shut off, back off. A kind of sadness comes in. And someone asks, what has happened? And you look around and say, what has happened? You don't know. You don't even know. But Vasana has started operating. I will not detail too much, but to understand those subtle little points. But then Vasanas begin to, just like shoots have come out of the earth, now they begin to grow. When they come to a little germinated state, it's called vrittis, thought waves. And those thought waves turn into desires, kama. As their tree is growing, the little buds have shoots, and shoots have begin to develop tender petals, and a little stem has grown into it. And then that's called kama, desire. And desire becomes trishna. When the little plant has become like a good, healthy tree, Krishna stage comes in. And Trishna, now you know what you need to do. Your thought, word, and action. All these become involved in fulfilling your desire. Ordinary desire, you don't care. But when it becomes Trishna, you have no choice. But each stage can be in two ways. It can be divine, positive, sattvic, or it can be rajasic, tamasic. That subtle point has to enter your mind, and the subtle art, not to give encouragement to that which is negative. Even in this, and the best effective action comes when you can recognize vritti, the moment little thought waves have entered your mind. If your mind has become sensitive by your daily practice of sadhana, you will recognize the root source of your trouble even in the early stage. And therefore, you are in a position to shut it up with very little effort. But if you don't recognize it, if you are in the state With satsanga, you will recognize it fast. If you have no possibility of satsanga, then unwittingly you will allow it to grow. And when it has grown into Krishna craving, you have no choice. Now you have become overpowered by a karmic force. Led by Krishna, you will create karmas, shubh or ashubh, positive or negative, virtuous or sinful. And karma becomes the basis of various situations that develop in your daily life, pleasant, unpleasant. And those karmic fruits, they don't come in sequence, in a kind of queue. They follow a strange mathematics. So sometimes you are in a very pleasant state, have done good meditation, etc. But suddenly something falls upon your head. You look, the very roof is leaking. Spoils the day. So karma works in a strange way. But no, nothing happens unless there is a karma behind. But that doesn't put you in a state of absolute dependence. If you study, the whole process is being initiated by you. You have the potentiality to look at the vrittis and not let them flourish if they are negative. And even if they have flourished, you have the potentiality to do purushartha. And even when a negative karma has brought about a negative situation, you have the possibility to fool the negativity. Interpret it as God's way of giving you challenge. And a big reward is waiting for you. And all your experiences of pleasure and pain, no matter how little, it goes on being recorded in your unconscious samskaras. And this cycle goes on and on until you attain enlightenment. Until your vritti becomes Brahmakara vritti, an intuitive movement. Forgetfulness of one's own essential nature weaves the illusion of the repeated cycles of birth and death. Scriptures use the term vismriti. Your essential nature is Brahman, but you have forgotten it. If you want to study now the role of smriti and vismriti, Raj Yoga has simplified it. First point is Shraddha, faith. Everyone has faith. No soul comes into the world without that backing of faith. Even in animals, birds, anywhere. If you are moving towards spiritual progress, then the faiths will express in more sattvic form. Sattvic form of faith means it is paving the way to discover amazing inner strength, not physical strength. That's the matter for medical science. Calories. But no amount of calories can give you the strength that is needed for controlling your stupidity. Controlling your anger, irritation, suddenly falling into sadness. All those, I tell them stupidity, but it's not so stupid, don't be upset. The nature of life. So, out of Shraddha, there arises virya, that inner strength. And that each is a progressive movement. How much you can have will depend upon many things. How much you are doing your integral yoga in daily life. As a result of that inner strength, you begin to recall, mystical recall. First stage, change in your recall, and then mystical recall. In practical life, you are always remembering. Without memory, nothing can be done. Even while you read, you have remembered the meanings that you have already, they are in your unconscious. And we are tapping that. So all comes so spontaneous. And memory plays tremendous part in your lives, all activities. If you don't have a clear memory, you can't succeed, can't be a good student. If you study a lesson and want to study it again, then again, there will be no other going for higher. What I'm talking about, memory relating to practical reality. That's one stage of memory. Another stage of memory, allowing your intellect to draw from positive lessons you have learned from the past. All those are there, but you don't want to remember every detail, but you want to remember certain experiences that you had in the past of a positive nature. And that automatically comes to you spontaneously. If you are moving in spiritual way, your sadhana has brought your mind into a state of sattva. Without your going after, suddenly a positive memory comes and makes you more delighted. Gives you a sudden opening to look. A miracle had happened before. You were in big trouble. And what you are expecting here is something little. You have experienced bigger miracles. And that type of remembrance helps you to develop perseverance with patience and not become upset. Now, come to another stage of memory. Memory that draws from your many lives. But we will not go into details of that. That's memory that allows you to understand that this life and all that you have gained is not all about you. You have gone through many lives. You don't go through the details of the memory, but just the awareness that if there has not been a time when you were not there. All people have the general concept of history. Much before I was born, there were so many things happened, millions. But a shocking news, there was at a time when you were not there. Not in this body, but you were different ways. You didn't just come from a zero. And there cannot be a time when you will not be there. That type of memory comes. And then the memory goes into another level. And that's the intuitive memory, aham brahmasmi. And in order to bring about that type of recall, in daily practices, practice sansmarana. In other words, get involved with the stories of Krishna, Rama, and bring to your mind prayers, adorations, and what I have described before, an act of nirmalya, removing the negative of your mind day by day. That's called function of smaran, sumiran. Smriti leads you to samadhi. Now what happens? You begin to discover that your life, your happiness, your security, all that is not in a simple confined circle. The circle that you feel that holds you into the practical world. As long as you are within the circle, you don't have samadhi experience. Samadhi experience, you find there is another extension, another level. And that ascending movement has no limit. In other words, you are not circled, you are not confined to your mind and senses. The type of joy can enter your heart that no amount of foods can supply you. A type of divine love can enter your heart that nothing in the world can compare with it. That wouldn't be possible if your consciousness is just normal, confined. Then only when you find a jewel or some costly thing coming to your house, oh, I'm rich, I have that. So all your attainments are in a very small confinement. And the whole confinement and the attainment is actually a noose on your neck. So I'm giving you understanding of samadhi. Therefore, every day one need to exercise one's effort to calm the mind. Even a little shavasana, lying down with absolute relaxation, pranayama, japa, walking in nature without having your ears plugged. So a daily practice and practicing concentration, meditation as Raja Yoga gives you. And japa, if that is brought into your daily life, it spices your life in a profound way. You do not lose time in that, rather you gain time. Once your mind has become more relaxed, more concentrated, and a little breeze of Sattva has entered, you handle big things with a more skilled manner and end up being more relaxed. So that's the art of promoting samadhi in your daily life. And if that happens, you do not live with a mind constantly waiting for when will all this end? When will I attain enlightenment? How distant am I? How many more births? How many more karmas? Nothing of that. When you are eating a delicious food, and every bit of the food is very joyous, you don't sit back and say, when will it all end? Figure that out. So sadhana should have that type of spirit, not a stressful mind behind it. How long can they go on doing that? How can I, as long as that how you say, your energy is being depleted. But if you simply continue, therefore the remedy is surrender to God. Do your best and leave the rest in divine hands. With trust, like a baby surrenders in the arms of the mother. If that stage has come, that samadhi leads you to prajna. It breaks ignorance spontaneously without your knowing it. You don't hear any crash going on. Aham Brahmasmi. The clouds have moved away and the sun shines. Sri Rama wants to know more about karma and the mind. And sage Vasistha said, it is the expansion of the mind that has brought about the illusion of karmas. No action can bring about fruits without being associated with the mind. Do all types of things with your hands and feet. They don't create karmas. But mind comes in. Every finger points somebody's error. Every movement of the foot to kick someone. Even staying just doing nothing means to frighten someone. So that's how karma is formed. Because the mind enters into your actions, your attitude, angle, your bhavana, your feeling behind it. Simple external expressions of your body, that's not karma. In the beginning, the mind arose from Brahman. That's for simple understanding. When you watch a cinema show, in the beginning, the entire show setting arose out of the screen. The screen is the source, and that screen is Brahman. But once the projection process starts, the role of Chitta comes in. What Chitta has gathered, accordingly the projections will bring about stories of pleasure, pain, and stories of jivas, their bondage and release, all that goes on. But they are projections. And projections have not removed the screen, never. The screen alone remains behind the projections as real stuff. But it's a tough time to understand it. The body, which appears to be the basis of every action, is in itself a materialized form of the mind. People make a distinction. This is my body, here is my brain, and behind the brain is the mind. if they believe in the mind. But what you don't understand, how do you start saying I am the body? By your act of mind that allows you to feel I am the body. If in a surgical process your body has become rendered what you call unconscious, the body is there for others. For you, the body is not there. The awareness of the body is a play of your mind. In fact, all your physical realities and the awareness of physical realities, behind that, it's the magic of mind. Same objects are there. You kick the bucket, they are all there, but now have no meaning for it. You don't have to kick the bucket. Go to deep sleep. You are in a very elegant building, elegant resources, and in your dream you are wandering, everybody has left me, without telling. So, the awareness of the body is not in the body. Awareness of the world is not in the world. It is in the mind. Actions performed by the mind must give rise to their results. Therefore, karmas emanate from your mind. One cannot escape the fruits of karma. Since karmas are being held by your mind, and you hear about karmas, suddenly your mind says, I don't want to do any more karmas. I'm going to go far away in the big cave. Another one says, I'm a big swimmer. I was going to go deep into the ocean and build up something. The moral behind it, you can't escape karma, no matter what you do. Actions performed by the mind must give rise to their results. One cannot escape the fruits of karma, no matter where he may go. There is not a place. You can't go into a mountain, or somewhere in the sky, or in the depth of the ocean, or at a distant planet. No matter where you go, karma is with you. Even your idea of going somewhere is being led by your own karma. Since this is the case, an aspirant's effort to attain self-realization can never be fruitless. Just like karma continues to be with you, likewise your sadhana-based movement will not leave you no matter where you go. If you are working with your japa meditation and you require to go somewhere, your sadhana also goes with you. You can't run away from it. When a person attains enlightenment, his mind is effaced. And then follows the cessation of all karmas. For those who are not enlightened, mind and karma continue to exist and depend upon each other. The cessation of either of these two brings about the cessation of both. When you talk about destroying all karmas, it implies then mind will not be there. Or when you simply say, I don't want to go after karmas, I will go after mind, the mind, dissolve the mind, mononash, automatically your karmas will be also destroyed. Karma and mind will go together. Section 96. More insight into the mind from various angles. Sri Rama continued, O sage, the mind is material, yet it has assumed consciousness. Please enlighten me regarding the nature of mind, which expresses through numerous thoughts and imaginations. Simple way to understand, whenever there is great vexation in a person, the only quick result, quick movement to resolve all this, never mind. Put the mind in a bucket. And you supplement it by saying, doesn't matter. Negate mind and matter. And your problem is resolved. This is instinctive. But try to understand that big wisdom that comes through the tongue of everyone. How can it be really accomplished? And with this I will conclude. Om Triambakam Jayamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukuma Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyant Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Hari Om Om Shri Ramaya Namah.